ho, ho! Merry Christmas! How's it going, Brian?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Very festive, I see.
Festive as it gets over here. Well, we're going to get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to read a fairy tale here today, and the fairy tale is the tale of the Golden Goose. Of course, classic Brothers Grimm fairy tale. I would like to share this fairy tale with you here today, and we're just going to jump right into it, and we'll talk a little bit about what this has to do with making money with email in a little bit. But first, Brian, do you want to stay on screen, or do you want me to here, what if we did this? Or this, hold on. This. What do you think? Should I just spotlight me while I'm reading this and then bring you back?
That works.
Good. All right. So we're going to go ahead and read The Golden Goose by the Brothers Grimm. There's a man who had 3 sons. I've never done this before, by the way. This is a first. So there was a man who had 3 sons, the youngest of whom was considered very silly, and everybody used to mock him and make fun of him. Now, the eldest son wanted to go and cut wood in the forest, and before he left home, his mother prepared a beautiful pancakes and a bottle of wine for him to take with him so that he might not suffer from hunger or from thirst. It's a pretty nice mom, right? As he entered the forest, he met a gray old man who bade him good morning and said, "Give me a little piece of cake out of your basket and a drop of wine out of your bottle, for I am very hungry and thirsty." But the clever son replied, "What? Give you my cake and wine? Why, if I did that, I should have none for myself. Not I, indeed. So take yourself off." And he left the man standing and went on. The young man began cutting down a tree, but it was not long before he made a false stroke. The axe slipped and cut his arm so badly that he was obliged to go home and have it bound up. Now this false stroke was caused by the little gray old man. Next day, the second son went into the forest to cut wood, and his mother gave him a cake and a bottle of wine. And as he entered the wood, the same little man met him and begged him for a piece of cake and a drop of wine. But the second son answered rudely, What might I give you? I shall want myself. So be off." Then he left the little old man standing in the road and walked on. His punishment soon came, and he had scarcely given 2 strokes on a tree with an axe when he hit his leg, and with such a terrible blow that he was obliged to limp home in great pain. Then the stupid son said to his father, "Let me go for once and cut wood in the forest." But his father said, "No, your brothers have been hurt already, and it would be worse for you, who don't understand wood cutting." The boy, however, begged so hard to be allowed to go that the father said, "There, get along with you. You will buy your experience very dearly, I expect." Well, what a supportive dad, right? His mother, however, gave him a cake which had been made with water and baked in the ashes and a bottle of sour beer. Ugh, bad mom. When he reached the wood, the very same little old man met him, and after greeting him kindly said, "Give me a little of your cake and a drop from your bottle, for I am hungry and thirsty." "Oh," replied the simple youth, "I have only cake, which has been baked in the ashes, and some sour beer, but you are welcome to share it. Let us sit down and eat and drink together." So they seated themselves, and lo and behold, when the youth opened his basket, the cake had been turned into a beautiful cake, and the sour beer into wine. After they had eaten and drank enough, the little old man said, "Because you have been kind-hearted and shared your dinner with me, I will make you in future lucky in all you undertake." I think there was a little bit of a typo there, so sorry about that. I will make you lucky in the future in all that you undertake. There stands an old tree. Cut it down, and you will find something good at the root. Then the old man said, "Farewell, farewell," and left him. The youth set to work and very soon succeeded in felling the tree, and when he found sitting at the roots was a goose, whose feathers were of pure gold. He took it up, and instead of going home, he carried it with him to an inn. At a little distance, where he intended to pass the night. The landlord had 3 daughters, who looked at the goose with envious eyes. They had never seen such a wonderful bird and longed to have at least one of its feathers. Ah, thought the eldest, I shall soon have an opportunity to pluck one of them. And so it happened, for not long after the young man left the room, she instantly went up to the bird and took hold of its wing, but as she did so, the finger and thumb remained stuck and fast. In short time, after the second sister came in with the full expectation of gaining a gold feather, but as she touched her sister to move her from the bird, her hand stuck fast to her sister's dress, and neither of them could free herself. At last, in came the third sister with the same intention. Keep away, screamed the other two. In heaven's name, keep away. But she couldn't imagine why she could not imagine why she should keep away. If they were near the golden bird, why should she not be there? So she made a spring forward and touched her second sister, and immediately she was also made a prisoner. And in this position, they were obliged to remain by the goose all night. In the morning, the young man came in, took the goose in his arm, and went away quickly without troubling himself about the 3 girls who were following close behind him. And as he walked quickly, they were obliged to run one behind the other, left or right of him, just as he was inclined to go. In the middle of a field, they were met by the parson of the parish, who looked with wonder at the procession as it came near him. "Shame on you," he cried out. "What are you about, you bold-faced hussies, running after a young man in that way through the fields? Go home, all of you." He placed his hand on the youngest to pull her back, but the moment he touched her, he also became fixed and was obliged to follow and run like the rest. In a few minutes, the clerk met them, and when he saw the young parson running after the girls, he wondered greatly and cried out, "Holla, Master Parson, where are you running in such haste? Have you forgotten that there is a christening today?" And the procession did not stop. He ran after it and seized the parson's gown. In a moment, he found that his hand was fixed, and he also had to run like the rest. And now there were 5 trotting along one behind the other. Presently, 2 peasants came by with their sickles from the field. The parson called out to them, and one begged to come and release him and the clerk. Hardly had they touched the clerk when they also stuck fast as the others, and the simpleton, with his golden goose, traveled with the 7. After a while, they came to a city, in which reigned a king who had a daughter, of such melancholy disposition that no one could make her laugh. Therefore, he issued a decree that whoever would make the princess laugh should have her in the marriage. Now, when the simple youth heard of this, he ran before her, and the whole 7 trotted right after him. The sight was so ridiculous that the moment the princess saw it, she burst into a violent fit of laughter, and they thought she would never leave off. After this, the youth went to the king and demanded his daughter in marriage. And according to the king's decree, His Majesty did not quite like to have the young man for a son-in-law. So he said that, before he could consent to the marriage, the youth must bring him a man who could drink all of the wine in the king's cellar. The simpleton went into the forest, for he thought, if anyone can help me, it is the little gray man. When he arrived at the spot where he had cut down the tree, there stood a man with a very miserable face. The youth asked him why he looked so sorrowful. "Oh," he exclaimed, "I suffer such dreadful thirst that nothing seems to be able to quench it, and cold water I cannot endure. I have emptied a cask of wine already, but it was just like a drop of water on a hot stone." "I can help you," cried the young man. "Come with me, and you shall have your full fill, I promise you." Upon this, he led the man into the king's cellar, where he opened the casks, one after the other, and drank it till his back ached. And before the day closed, he had quite emptied the king's cellar. Again, the young man asked for his bride, but the king was annoyed at the thought of giving his daughter to such a common fellow. And to get rid of him, he made another condition. He said that no man should have his daughter who could not find someone able to eat up a whole mountain of bread. Away went the simpleton to the forest as before, and there in the same place sat a man binding himself round tightly with a belt and making the most horrible faces. As the youth approached, he cried, I have eaten a whole oven full of rolls, but it has not satisfied me a bit. I'm as hungry as ever, and my stomach feels so empty that I am obliged to bind it round tightly, or I should die of hunger. The simpleton could hardly contain himself for joy when he heard this. Get up, he exclaimed, and come with me. I will give you plenty to eat, I'll warrant. So he led him to the king's court, where his majesty had ordered all of the flour in the kingdom to be made into bread and piled into a huge mountain. The man placed himself before the bread and began to eat, and before evening the whole pile had disappeared. Then the simpleton went a third time to the king and asked for his bride. But the king made several excuses, and at last said that if he could bring him a ship that would travel as well by land as by water, then he should, without any further conditions, marry his daughter. This king is kind of a shyster. The youth went straight to the forest and saw the same old gray man to whom he had given his cake. And he said, "Ah," he said, as the youth approached, "it was I who sent the men to eat and drink, and I will also give you a ship that can travel by land or by sea, because when you thought I was poor, you were kind-hearted and gave me food and drink." The youth took the ship, and when the king saw it, he was quite surprised, but he could not any longer refuse to give his daughter in marriage. The wedding was celebrated with great pomp, and after the king's death, the simple woodcutter inherited the whole kingdom and lived happily with his wife. Season's greetings, Robert. It's good to see you. So, The Golden Goose by the Brothers Grimm, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very curious what you took away from that. What's the moral of the story? What happened there? The old Grimm's fairy tales aren't analyzed that much anymore, and I'm very curious to know what you all thought. Did you catch that whole thing, or were you busy working on your new YouTube studio?
Well, first I gotta say things escalate quickly in this story.
They do. They really do.
And they also take drastic actions. Ordering all the flour in the kingdom to be made into bread.
All of it.
All of it. Just because somebody ate a bunch of rolls.
It's commitment.
And they were not satisfied.
It's commitment. Yeah, it was. I was really struck by. I always want to read more fairy tales. I have like 3 copies of all the Grimm's fairy tales, but I never sit down and read fairy tales. And so I really enjoyed reading it. I want to read more of them so that I can really internalize the story. Right. So much of our mascot work is it's very much like fairy tales. Right. Coming up with mascots who tell a story and like deliver a message is very inspired by fairy tales, but I don't read them enough. And so that was really cool, and I'm hoping to read more. But I was really struck by the part where he got the goose, which was sweet, right? Like basically, first thing is share. Okay, be cool, share, right? Like share what you got with people in need. Like don't be a stingy, don't be a Scrooge, don't be stingy, be cool, right? Especially to like little old men, or little old women. People who need it. If somebody needs a little food or a little drink and you got a little extra, like hook them up, and how his, smarter, stronger brothers both were self-focused and arrogant and wouldn't share, and karma kicked their butt, right? Oh, they were pancakes and cake. I'm sure there's a version of the story where there were cinnamon rolls, though. I'm certain of it. And then the younger boy that the father barely let go out, who actually had a much stronger heart and it was much kinder soul, was ultimately the one who got the tree and the goose. And so we got this, simpleton, young son of a farmer or whatever.
Stupid son.
The simpleton son. What's that? The woodcutter's son?
Stupid son.
The stupid son.
Yes.
Who has this golden goose. And they didn't go into it, but one would assume this is the same goose or a similar goose that probably is going to start dropping golden eggs at some point.
Right.
Right. And I really liked the part where, as soon as this, kid had the golden goose, then all of a sudden the girl swooned toward him and couldn't stop following him. Right. And so this is our greed. Right. And this is one of the things to look out for when chasing money. When we all want more money, especially as entrepreneurs, as business owners. But everybody pretty much wants more money. Right. And some people are going to go after it more than others. And one of the tricks is to not get caught in that, right? Not get caught in chasing the money, or you'll just follow the opportunities. And you're going to find if you just follow the opportunities like everybody else, it's not going to work out, right? If you're just trying to get the stuff that you want for yourself, basically it's a trap. Okay, if the only goal is cash, if the only goal is gold, and you're just going to be chasing around the simpleton with the golden goose so you can pluck out one of its feathers, like, good luck. You're kind of done to begin with. So that was a very important piece. But then I liked how there was a third lesson where, in the beginning, the stupid son shared his cake and his wine, his trashy ash cake and his sour beer with the old man. And the old man was like, dude, you rock so hard. I'll do whatever you need. And he ended up getting the guy married. He became the king. He gave him a ship that can go by land and sea. They never even explained that, right? I wanted to see that ship, like a pirate ship with wings. What's going on? And in the end, the kind, caring son got the goose, got the eggs, got the princess, and became the king, right? So if you want to know how to become a king, the answer is you got to get yourself a golden goose, and then you got to care for it, and you got to care for your community and your kingdom along the way and everybody you encounter. And that was pretty articulately said. And that was off the top of my head. That was pretty good. I was looking for a thread where I could relate this back to list building and email marketing. And I think I just found it. So you got to get yourself a goose. You got to get yourself the thing that's going to lay those golden eggs day after day after day, week after week after week, month after month after month, right? You got to be dropping golden eggs somewhere. And how do you get a golden goose? Well, the equivalent is you build an email list, and the bigger and more responsive and that list becomes, and the better you get at serving those people, the more golden eggs will drop out of that goose. Bottom line, the better you get at helping those people get what they want and they need in order to survive, in order to thrive in their world, in the arena or the niche, the market that you're playing in, the more money will come out of that goose. And then you'll use those golden eggs in order to serve your kingdom better, right? In order to build the kingdom. So I'd really like to think of yourself as that simpleton son, right? You don't know what you're doing. You have a lot to learn. You don't have skills yet. Perhaps your self-confidence is a little shot because your dad and mom have been jerks to you. All these things can happen. And but you have a good heart and you want to make the world a better place and you're willing to help people along the way. Like, honestly, that's how you have to think about building your list. and you still use money as your measuring stick. The number of golden eggs that are dropping out of that goose is the measuring stick for how well you're doing your job, for how well you're serving your kingdom, right? And your people. And your people are your list. So if you want to build an email list, create a golden goose for your business, type Golden Goose into the comments below, and I will send you a link. Good morning, Curtis. Were those cinnamon rolls? The golden egg turns to brass. What? No, I don't like that. Golden Goose, maybe it does. We'll have to read more up on that later. Maybe there's a deeper level to the story, Robert. So the long and short of it is, if you want to build an email list, if you want to have that type of recurring, regular income stream that you can count on, the more people join your list and the better you get at helping them, by genuinely helping them and by selling them products and services that they're actively looking for, and then in the hopefully not too distant future, creating products and services that they're looking for if you haven't started doing that already. This is the name of the game when it comes to building a direct response email business. The bigger your list gets, it's like the healthier your goose gets. Maybe we'll get you a bunch of golden geese. Who knows? All right, I've been monologuing pretty hardcore. What do you have to say about all this, Brian? What were your takeaways of the Golden Goose here today?
Lots of good takeaways. That was really fun, by the way, that analysis of the fairy tale. We should definitely do more of these. There was one line where I believe someone was telling someone, in heaven's name, keep away, don't touch the goose. And they did it.
Anyway.
And they suffered the consequences. So maybe one of those lessons is, hey, is there someone out there that has more knowledge, experience, or expertise, and they're advising you to do something or not do something, perhaps you should follow their advice. They might know something that you don't.
Absolutely true. Don't touch the goose, for heaven's name. Cool. So, Brian, as a internet entrepreneur yourself, I'd like you to think back to when you first started, specifically when you first started building an email list and it paid off. So I want you to think about that project or that time in your life. And before we go into too much more detail on that moment, in brief, would you be willing to share? And I don't know the answer to this story. I'm sure you've told it before, but I don't remember. Mm-hmm. What did you try in order to make money online, maybe offline, but like outside of a normal job? What did you try in order to make money before you figured out, build a list, and then you built a list, and then you actually made more money, and it was a godsend. It was an amazing thing. So what different types of things did you try before you tried building an email list?
Yep, lots of things. And this might be dating myself. Way back in the day, I tried to start a 900 number business. You remember 900 numbers?
Vaguely.
Call 1-900, whatever the case, and listen to this or talk to so-and-so. $3.99 a minute. 900 numbers.
Like a sex line business?
Yeah, but not necessarily. That may or may not have been one of the options, but sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But yeah. All right. Very, very. Very classy.
Network marketing. I'm sure a lot of people who find their way into list building may try network marketing or some variation of that. Certainly tried that as well. Push
what
button.
Network do you care to share? If I don't want you to trash talk anybody. So, like, did you have a good network marketing experience, or was it a bad network marketing experience?
Yes. Here's what I'll say about network marketing. The good thing about network marketing that I think really helped me is one of the things that the network marketing industry in general is big on is teaching mindset
Yeah.
and teaching the idea
Yeah.
of entrepreneurship and owning
Right.
your own business and financial freedom and things like that. So from that perspective, I think network marketing did a great job. As far as the particular vehicle that they choose or the infrastructure of the business, I don't think that's the best model. So that's what I'll say about network marketing. So financially and from a business perspective, it did not work out. But as far as helping me take the next step into finding the right vehicle, list building being one of them, I think it fulfilled a useful purpose.
And what were you selling? So what were you selling?
So I don't know if I necessarily want to mention names
Yeah.
of companies, but some would be, health type supplements, vitamins, various products, even uh, through a mutual acquaintance of ours, gold and silver.
Gold and silver. At one point, I joined Agile, AGEL. It was like a nutrient power gel that a few internet marketing guys did for a little while. I did a couple of network marketing things and I hated it. I agree with you. Network marketing is really good for corralling a bunch of people together, in particular, like real life network marketing online also, but it's not quite as impactful, I think. Or it's not as, it doesn't seem as real. Like when you go to a seminar and there's like 2,500 people packed into a room, all like cheering for the network marketing company, it's a little intense, right? And it's very, network marketing companies can be kind of culty, kind of religious in a non-religious way. Like they have aspects of religion without, and I'm sure there are religious network marketing companies, but I just mean like the getting everybody to believe the same thing. Kind of like the glazed over, and I just don't like being part of a herd. I don't like being part of a crowd. I'd rather either fly solo or like be assembling the crowd. I don't like being in the crowd. And so what I didn't like about network marketing in my experience of it was, first of all, I'm not very good at following rules, definitely consistently. And so network marketing companies, A, are highly regulated, and B, they're systematic and they're not really built for innovators. And so I'm an innovator. So I always wanted to like break the rules. And I don't like following rules verbatim, and I don't like teaching the rules verbatim. So like all of the vibe of network marketing for me is like soul sucking. It really dampened my creativity and dampened my wanting to kind of do something my own way or whatever. But on the other hand, you're absolutely right in that there are a lot of network marketing opportunities that actually teach really good direct response internet marketing skills these days. And so back in the day, Mike Dillard and a small crew founded magnetic marketing that then became attraction marketing. And one of my email empire students did a ton of work with them for several years at my recommendation, right? While he was learning internet marketing and email marketing, because it was a great foundational way to do that. And David Wood with Empower teaches people internet marketing for network marketing, right? So there are some where you can learn these skills that are necessary to build any kind of business online, which is pretty sweet. But network marketing wasn't for me. So you tried a 900 number business and you tried some network marketing, and then you were working at Walmart when you started building your email list. Were there any other like opportunities that you chased after or things that you tried to do that ultimately?
Well, so it's interesting. So part of what got me into the internet aspect is at one point, this is back in the early days of websites. when we were making websites with like Microsoft Front Page and Dreamweaver. So I started a website development company, and I was cold calling businesses out of the yellow pages. Remember the yellow pages?
Oh, I remember the yellow pages.
And locally, I would also go door to door. It's interesting. Back then, I was trying to convince businesses that they needed a website. Nobody wanted one or believed me.
Right.
These days, everybody almost has a website, but now you got to convince them that you can actually make their website work for them. So there's the website business. And then what's really interesting is I started doing, because back, it was really easy to do back then, but I was making like tons of websites and doing like arbitrage with AdWords and AdSense, where I was buying traffic to get to like this really, low value website with a bunch of ads on it to get people to click on the ads. That's where I got my first taste of actually making money online.
Well, that's interesting though. So the traffic arbitrage, basically buying traffic and selling it at a slightly higher price.
Yep.
Really is what it comes down to. And there have been so many there are always ways to do that, by the way. There's always ways to do that. There are still ways to do that today. And at the end of the day, that's what Facebook is doing, right? Like that's what Google is doing. That's like that's what YouTube is doing. But as a small person, you can if you can buy it cheaper and sell it a little bit more, you're good to go, right? But the thing that's important about that is you said you started making money with it, which is one. Number two is you started driving traffic. You started learning the skill of driving traffic. And that's critical to anyone's long-term success online. That is one of the leverageable skills of internet marketing is traffic, right? And you need to get good at it, or you need to have someone on your team or in your business who is good at least one form of traffic. It's a necessary and critical ingredient to make everything else work. So I just want to point out that that's great. You started driving traffic and you realized, oh, we really do need traffic here. It's an important piece. Mm-hmm.
And then where the list building came in was basically once I got a taste of actually making money on the internet, I started trying to learn about, well, how can I make more money? And that's where I kind of stumbled upon learning to build email lists, because that was the idea of like, well, if you have this skill of driving traffic to your website, there's a way that if you capture that traffic, instead of making money once, so they come to the website, they click on an ad and they leave, and that's a one and done thing. I realized that there's ways I can, multiply that my output or my money from that same traffic vis-a-vis your favorite word, Telman, vis-a-vis list building.
Vis-a-vis. What was that legal word you used the other day? Expeditiously. Oh, so
you're always
funny.
calling me out for using big words.
Yeah. Don't use big words, dude. Fourth grade with me. So good. So one of the things about building an email list, guys, when we're talking about this, that most people don't get is that it does start slow usually, unless you're skilled, right? Because if it's fast, that means you're basically spending a lot of money really fast. And you can't do that for very long in most cases, right? And you don't want to do it really fast if you don't know what you're doing. All you're going to do is waste all your money and like burn your list out and get bad deliverability and send them dumb emails, and then they're going to hate you. Like, you don't actually want it to happen super fast. As your list starts building, what you're doing is that list, you have to understand, your list is a traffic source. Okay? It's your traffic source. That's the thing that most people are just like, they're not quite catching. If you build your list and you nurture it over time, and they know you, they like you, and they trust you and want to buy from you, that is the most hyper responsive traffic source that your business will ever have in your entire life, bar none. Period. End of story. And that can never be taken from you. Okay? Can never be taken from you. Every social media platform, gone in a flash, my friend. not your email list. It can never go away because nobody owns it other than you. Facebook owns Facebook. YouTube owns you. I mean, whatever. Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. Google owns YouTube and Google, etc. But they're all companies, and those companies are either going to change the rules or go out of business or go out of favor at some point, right? All these different platforms rise and fall, and you should use the new platforms that are rising. And even some of them that are falling can still be used for enormous profit for your business if it's a good profitable platform for you to use, whether it's organic or paid. Right now, okay, let me explain to you what we're doing right now. Just to kind of, if you're an experienced marketer, you know exactly what we're doing right now. But if you're not, here's what's happening. Right now, Brian and I are live streaming. We're creating a video from the comfort of our homes. I'm in Vermont. Brian's in Pennsylvania. We're making a video. And I do want to point out, Brian, when you started your video, you're like, oh, the quality of this camera is way worse than the quality of the camera that I normally do my videos on, right? You're not on a super fancy camera. My laptop's several years old. I'm not on a super fancy camera either. Is that stopping us from going live?
Nope.
No, right? Big lesson there, guys. We're live streaming on Facebook and YouTube right now, but there are many more places that we could be and will be live streaming on in the future. And but starting with one or two platforms is a good place because you got to manage them, right? You got to respond to the comments. You got to whatever. So we're live streaming. We're doing organic right now. Okay, we're not putting any money into this video. We're putting our time into this video. The investment is time, and so we're live streaming in two different. One Facebook group on my personal Facebook and on YouTube, and so. As we create these videos, we're tapping into Facebook and YouTube organic traffic sources. Okay? Those organic traffic sources then get seen by people that are following us or are like the people who are following us. And when they come to the video, they see a link, and the link at the bottom of the screen says www.mascotland.com/early-bird. That's our early bird list if you want to go and learn more about email marketing and you want to build yourself a digital golden goose. If you want to build yourself an email list that pays you for decades, you can go visit us at mascotland.com/early-bird. You can join the list and follow the instructions on the next page to start learning more about building your email list for your new or existing business and how to do it right. When you join our list, you're going to get emails from us. Okay? And when you get emails from us and you open them and you click on that link, that's traffic. You just became traffic. Okay? And you're then going to go to one of our pages or a page that we're promoting for somebody else. And that will turn into money. And that's how the system works. When you do live streaming, you use your live streams to build your email list. Your email list becomes your own in-house traffic source, and then you use that traffic source to point it at offers and programs and content that you think people on your list will like, will appreciate, will get benefit from, will cause more trust, connection, and put you in front of them in a way that will cause them to buy the types of products and services that you're hoping to offer them in the future. And the better and better and better you get at that, the more and more and more eggs pop out of the butt of the golden goose. That's what I'm talking about. Brian, you have anything else to say, or shall we wrap?
A lot of good stuff today.
That's right.
I think we can call it a wrap.
Dropping golden eggs left and right around here.
That's right. Dropping golden eggs.
All right. Guys, thanks for being here. Thanks. Good to see you, Robert and Curtis. Thanks for chiming in live, and happy holidays and all that jazz to everybody. We'll be doing more videos, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye-bye.
Toodaloo. Bye.